From Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world, I'm David Gabry, and this is the Vegas Faces Podcast, where we talk with Las Vegas locals about what it's really like to live in the City of Lights. Whether you're living in Vegas, moving to Vegas, or just visiting Vegas and looking for new adventures, together let's discover the hidden gems that make Sin City the most visited place on earth. Hey everybody, welcome to Vegas Faces Fast Facts, where we do short clips about specific topics from right here in Las Vegas. I'm David Gavry. I'm a Las Vegas realtor with Realty One Group Summerlin, and today's topic is, what is Vegas cuisine? What does it mean when someone wants to eat at a Vegas-style restaurant? With us today is Jonathan Morales, who has an extensive background in the Las Vegas hospitality industry. Jonathan works at the Golden Steer, which is the most iconic steakhouse in all of Las Vegas. It's been around since the 1950s. Its regulars used to be Elvis, Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe, and many more. Jonathan is also the founder and CEO of Upkeep, a tech startup that helps you find the most reputable contractors and handyworkers in your area. Jonathan was on Vegas Faces podcast episode 11, where we sip amazing scotch and talk all about being an entrepreneur, as well as favorite Vegas restaurant recommendations. So check him out. He's a great guy. Today he's going to help us figure out how to respond when someone asks for Vegas-style cuisine. Jonathan, welcome to Vegas Faces Fast Facts. How are you?
Hey, David. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. We're going to get right into it. I want to know from your perspective and your experience, what does it mean when someone from out of town says, hey, Jonathan, give me a Vegas-style restaurant?
Automatically pops in my head something that has been started in Las Vegas, right? And going back to the Vegas days, you think of tuxedo, bow tie, and these long dresses. So Golden Steer is kind of like the epitome of Las Vegas dining to me, where you get a steak, the shrimp cocktail, which was invented also in Las Vegas. All the classics definitely are there. So to me, obviously it's Golden Steer if we have to answer it in one restaurant, but we have lots of great cuisine now in Las Vegas, so it's super expensive.
That's what we do. Just give them an expensive restaurant.
Yeah.
I feel like too, though, that kind of ties into the celebrity chef thing. I feel like Vegas is the only city that has such an extensive list of celebrity chef restaurants. Like, I don't think that's popular in like New York or LA or Chicago.
Yeah.
That seems to be unique to Vegas.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a dining destination. Chef Giada, definitely here. Chef Gordon Ramsay. You got Joel Rubishani. I believe he already passed away, but you have his restaurant still here in town, and then you got Carbone, which is my favorite Italian spot. But this is just a great destination for dining all around.
Now, how do you decipher though between, because we've been to some expensive restaurants that actually weren't really worth the price tag, and I feel like a lot of people, they kind of get tricked, especially when you go to the Las Vegas Strip. You just think everything there is fantastic, and then sometimes you run into a place that it's just pricey because it happens to be at Aria or Cosmo or something like that. Like, how does one navigate the worth it expensive restaurants versus the not worth it?
I mean, I guess you can go about it through the influencer market, right? But I find that sometimes these people are not really doing it out of like really thinking that it's really good. They just do it to get money or food out of the restaurant. So I think you have to just really try it, right? I think it's personal experience, because if I have a great experience myself, then you go 2 days later and you have a terrible experience. It's just really going to depend on everybody's experience.
John, what's your take on the restaurants off the Strip? Because I hear that in this town, they're just as good as the restaurants on the Strip. And if you have any perspective on why that is.
Yeah, I think that all the restaurants off the Strip are fantastic. Some of them are even better than the ones on the Strip, right? I'm a huge fan of the EDO group that has the restaurant EDO, and then they have a second restaurant called Anima. I think they are fantastic. They do a great job with tapas, Spanish tapas with their own twist. I believe it's Spanish and Japanese in one of them, and then the other one is Spanish and Italian. It could be wrong, but they do a phenomenal job, and I actually enjoy them a lot. I was just at Esther's Kitchen today. I think they also do a great job. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of great places in Las Vegas that are off the strip, honestly, or that are Vegas born, where they had training under a big celebrity chef that they just do their own project and they do really well because the community supports them, right? The community is full of hospitality people that just want to go and have a great time and a great experience, and yeah, they keep these places alive for sure.
Whenever someone says like Vegas cuisine, another thing that pops in my head is immediately the buffets. Like, is that something
Hmm.
that's like, can we elaborate on that? Like, do you have any personal favorite buffets? For me personally, it's always the Caesar's Bacchanal buffet with just the
Yeah.
amount of items that they have and the crab legs and uh but again, I'm not in the hospitality industry. I'm curious to know what people in the industry say with things like the Vegas buffets.
Right. There's two in particular that I actually enjoy. Obviously, what people say about buffets, they really don't go, they don't like them, right? But in my opinion, there's two that everybody should check out whenever they're in Las Vegas. One of them is the Wicked Spoon at Cosmopolitan. I think that one's fantastic. And then the second one is only on Sundays, and it's called the Sterling Brunch at Bally's, I believe, and it's $99. It has a steep price tag, but they serve you bottomless champagne, which is awesome, lobster, crab, oysters, you name it. Like they just go all out for sure.
And I know like foodies are like buffet, like it they feel like it's not it's like less than or whatever, but still these aren't just normal buffets, just like anything else in this town. I feel like whenever someone asks, "Give me Vegas cuisine," I think of like the most not normal restaurant, no matter what the cuisine is. Another thing I like to recommend is Chinatown. Like I don't even give them names. I'm just like just go to Chinatown. You got any favorites out there that you can drop? For me, it starts with honestly the 85-degree bakery. Like let's go dessert first. Like
Oh my God,
that's
yes.
like that whole plaza, Shanghai Plaza. I love We're a Thai in there. There's really
Hmm.
nothing bad in that entire plaza, but those are my top twos. What about you?
Yes. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That kind of slipped out of my mind for some reason. Um, China Mama in that same plaza, fantastic. If you crave Chinese, of course. Um, there's Sparrow and Wolf, right? They do such a great job. And then there's one that you can do multiple courses, like a really high-end dinner called Partage, and they do French cuisine, and they do such a great job. And I think they're booked out 2 weeks in advance too.
Which isn't bad. Some places, such as
Oh,
your place, Golden Steer, is like 2 months in advance easily.
oh man, we're up to four right now.
4 months in advance. That's not, and that's for like what? Just a regular table, not even for a booth.
Correct. Yeah, it's just a regular table. I mean, obviously you can find some like in 30 to 60 days, but they're not optimal times. What I mean by that is either really open or late.
While we're on that topic, can you talk a little bit about Golden Steer? As we mentioned it in the intro a little bit, but how legendary it is, how it started in the 50s, and you've got the Mafia room in there, you've got uh,
Yes.
the Elvis booth, the Sinatra booth, the Marilyn Monroe booth. When we went there, we sat at the Joe DiMaggio booth. Uh, Feel free to elaborate, being one who knows it the best.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, been there since 1958, right? It's the oldest steakhouse in Las Vegas, and the reason why we became so popular back in the day, that's just the Rat Pack. Rat Pack was the one that really gave us our big break. Sammy Davis Jr. was the first to ever come. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Joey Bishop, Peter Lawford. After that, you got Elvis Presley, Muhammad Ali, obviously, Marilyn Monroe, like you mentioned before as well. And yeah, if you ever saw the movie Casino, the character that Joe Pesci played, Tony Spilotro, he was a real life mobster, and he came through our restaurant quite frequently.
I would say to wrap this up, John,
Yeah.
if someone says, Jonathan, give me your most Vegas style restaurant, and you can't use Golden Steer, where would you take
Oh
them?
man. Ah. All right. So definitely, I would go off the strip. I would definitely go off the strip. And it's not to fit the Vegas theme, but just more something that started in Las Vegas. And I would go to Anima. I think that's one of my favorites, and I would go there. Or or hold up, sorry. Cleaver definitely. They do such a great job out there as well.
Nice. I've heard of that one, haven't been there yet. I
You
always,
have.
and here's someone who, again, for myself, I never really know what to do. So I just take them to the Peppermill diner because it's literally like just from a decor. I'm not even, I mean, it's still diner food at the end of the day. It's not bad. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's like, Michelin star quality food, but it's your most unique diner that I've ever seen here in Las Vegas. And you walk in
Mhm.
there and you're like, oh my God, like there's like a hot tub in the bar that's like just a decoration hot tub. Like
Yeah.
it's just like the most ridiculous, like out there, crazy decor kind of place. And
Hmm.
then of course when you sit down, it's like, oh, we're just having regular diner food. So
Yeah.
that's kind of been my spot to just be like, you want a Vegas looking restaurant? That's where I'll take you.
Oh yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
been
That's a great
around.
choice.
It's been
Yeah, that's
around
a
for
great
what,
choice.
50 years or so, something like that. It's open 24/7. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm always perplexed. I'm always like, where do I take them? I don't know. Like, depends on the cuisine that you like. Because I feel like Vegas does the best of every cuisine.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that once you get into the cuisine styles that you're looking for, you can definitely go to different places, right? So, just to give you a quick few, I mean, Italian, Carbone, like I mentioned before, Steakhouse is Golden Steer, but if it's not Golden Steer, John George is one of my favorite for sure. Spanish, Julian Serrano at Aria, that's definitely my favorite. For Mexican on the Strip, Mexican cuisine, I would go to Javier's, also at Aria. They do such a great job. But yeah, those are just to name a few. Just to name a few.
Any favorite bars? Like just, whether it doesn't have to be speakeasy style, but for me, one that sticks out is the Sky Bar at the Waldorf, just from like the
That's my
view
favorite. That's
alone.
my yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. No, so like, just to like say a few, like my favorite as far as dive bars go, because that's kind of what I like to do. The Sand Dollar Lounge, I think they do such a great job. Velveteen Rabbit, also a great job. Um, there's this new one, man. Bar Ginza is fantastic, man. I think that this man was in the industry, isn't in the industry, obviously, but he opened his own bar, his own Japanese style bar, and it's in downtown in the Arts District. And man, he's such a nice guy. He deserves all the highlight that he can get, man. He does such great cocktails, has great whiskey selection. I need to send you a picture of this one that I sipped on. Well, no, actually, I bought for my cousin to sip on, but he gave me a little sample and it was just phenomenal. And yeah, they just do such a great job there. I think that's one of my favorites right now. Let's see, Commonwealth inside Commonwealth. Inside a bar, you have another bar called Laundry Room, which is fantastic. If you've never been, make reservations to go there. Atomic Liquors, fantastic as well. I think those are my favorites.
Wow. Awesome.
Hmm.
Thanks for mentioning that. Paul, did we catch that? That was
Yeah,
good.
I'm pulling it up right now. Actually, hang on one second.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. So that's our outside, but that's our inside, and then on the back part of it, right, there's the laundry room. So you have to put laundry room inside Commonwealth, and then you can see it with the. It looks like it's not even part of the place. I mean, it's just great. It's just great all around. But like I said, if you want to try Japanese whiskey or just any type of whiskey, bourbon or Scotch, David, go to
Okay.
Barginza. Barginza
Nice.
is insanely good. They have great
Nice.
selections, and if you don't want to commit to a whole pour, he sells you half pours, so that way you
Okay.
can taste a little bit of everything too. So I thought that was really cool for those of you that are bourbon enthusiasts. So definitely, or whiskey enthusiasts at this point, right? But yeah, that's Barginza.
Wow.
And it's good, man. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. It's new. I think it's been open for 2 weeks right now.
Oh, wow.
2 weeks, 2 months, or something like that. But yeah, it's new. They've done a piece on them on like influencers have, but I think that it's just a nice place, man. Something where we should definitely go.
Okay, sounds good to me. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's funny because Paul, like, Jonathan's actually like a sommelier, so like he like knows the
Mhm.
stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah, I think I like this whiskey because it has a cool story. Which I don't know if it makes it good whiskey or not, but it's like, oh, that's a cool little fun historical fact. It must be good. But
Yeah,
he actually like knows the ins and outs of this stuff. So
Nice,
last time
excellent.
we
a little
went,
bit.
the double helix place was fun. You were like, I don't know, I don't even remember like which. This bar has whiskeys from every country on the planet, And he's like, "Oh, let's try this one from like India." And I'm like, "Dude, India makes whiskey? Like, I didn't know that. Like, like you can get whiskey from all over the world."
From all over the world. All over the world. It's cool. My favorite is Japanese just because it comes from a really clean source. Like, just the water's a lot cleaner, the taste is a lot cleaner. But just, yeah, they're all good. They're all good.
Yeah. And they're like so similar to Scotch, right? Like they whatever Scotch is doing, but they can't call it Scotch because it's not made in Scotland. So it's like Japanese version of Scotch, I guess.
Right. So it's
But
all whiskey at the end of it, but it really just depends on how they make it.
all right, Jonathan, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for doing this. And guys that are listening and watching this, go check out episode 11 of Vegas Faces. Jonathan, that was the episode we did, the long form version, where we talk all about being an entrepreneur and what it's like running a business while also having a job. And of course, we get into Vegas, being that this is a Vegas podcast. But either way, John, thanks for coming back. Always appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, David.
Thank you for subscribing to Vegas Faces on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok under the name Gavri Group. That's Gavri Group. Thanks, everybody. See you at the next episode.